Day 13 Word of God Psalms 71-8. Let my mouth be filled with thy praise and with thy honor all the day. Psalm chapter 71 is a prayer of trust and praise from an individual seeking God's help in old age and challenging times. The psalmist reflects on God's faithfulness throughout life, from youth to old age, expressing deep reliance on him. While the author is not explicitly named, many scholars attribute it to David or another aged believer reflecting on a lifetime of God's provision and deliverance. Psalm chapter 71 verse 8 is a personal declaration of praise, expressing the psalmist's desire to honor God continually, regardless of circumstances. It emphasizes a life marked by unceasing worship, showing that gratitude toward God is not confined to specific moments but should fill every part of the day. Psalm chapter 71 verse 8 is a call to live a life centered on God's praise. The psalmist says, "Let my mouth be filled with thy praise," expressing a longing to speak continually of God's greatness. This verse teaches that praise is not only a response to blessings but an ongoing acknowledgement of God's character and works. The words, "with thy honor all the day," indicate that God's name is to be glorified not just in worship services but throughout the day, in conversations, actions, and thoughts. It is a reminder that praising God is a lifestyle, not just a religious duty, and that our words should reflect His glory at all times. In Psalm chapter 34 verse 1, "I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth." This verse parallels Psalm chapter 71 verse 8, emphasizing a lifestyle of ongoing praise. In Daniel chapter 6 verse 10, even in exile, Daniel prayed and gave thanks to God 3 times a day. His example shows that praise can remain constant, even in difficult circumstances. In 1 Chronicles chapter 16, 8-10 David's song of thanksgiving calls the people to give thanks unto the Lord, call upon his name, make known his deeds. This shows that praise involves both personal worship and public testimony. In Ephesians chapter 5 verse 19-20 Paul encourages believers to speak to one another, in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing and making melody to the Lord, giving thanks always for all things. This reflects the continuous praise that Psalm chapter 71 verse 8 calls for. In Hebrews chapter 13 verse 15, "Through Jesus, therefore, let us continually offer to God a sacrifice of praise." This verse shows that praise is not tied to circumstances but flows from a heart aligned with God's will. In 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, 16-18 Paul exhorts believers to rejoice always, pray without ceasing, give thanks in all circumstances. This mirrors the spirit of Psalm chapter 71 verse 8 by calling believers to honor God throughout the day. Psalm chapter 71 verse 8 challenges believers to cultivate a lifestyle of continual praise, honoring God throughout the day. It is a reminder that worship is not confined to Sunday services but should fill every part of our lives. In times of joy, sorrow, or routine, our mouths can still proclaim God's goodness. This verse encourages us to develop habits of gratitude, speaking words that glorify God in every situation. Whether in conversation with others, personal prayer, or in thought, our lives can reflect God's honor. As we intentionally focus on praising God, we cultivate hearts that trust Him more deeply and find peace in His presence. Today's church is called to be a people whose words reflect the greatness of God, offering a testimony to the world of His faithfulness. God bless you and give you grace after grace.